Hello world again. I was rewatching a 4 year clip where a politician in Ohio, Lee Wong, was ranting about Asian hate, showing off his scar from 20 years of army service, which kind of ignite my old wound. Am I patriotic enough? Let me share some example here of the Asian hate I have experienced. I came to the U.S. in 1989, so I grew up in the 90s with the gangs in Los Angeles. When I was walking to school in fifth grade, the Mexican, I guess you could call them the subcategory of white American, the white Hispanics, in Norwalk, California. They're like pretty multi generation in the US. They were chanting Chinese, Japanese, take this, and threw rocks at my head. Uh, I was pretty pissed off and I tried to kill them. I chased them down, but I couldn't catch up to them. But if I could have catch up to them, I would have smashed the head in. And that was in fifth grade. Later on, I joined the Air Force, and there was a lot of those bullying, pecking order, which I consider minor, so I ignore most of it. But when people start setting me up as Chinese spy, it become a different type of hate crime. Now it's no longer minor. This is in the line of treason and mutiny, and it's very devastating to the victim's livelihood. So the 11 years, I worked in one of the most secret organization in the U.S. at the U.S. Air Force AFTAC on Patrick Air Force Base. You can look them up now. Uh, it had been around for like for a century, since 1930. When I showed up in 2002, there was a lot of corruptions. Basically, contractor were taking over the organization when it should be military. So for many years, there were a lot of things that gone unspoken of. Uh, One time, a visiting general wanted to talk to the young airmen. They wanted to know what the young airmen were feeling and facing, and if they have any questions for the top leadership. And the guy was sharing, his struggles at the top. He was the second in command for the civilian and reconnaissance in the Air Force. He was trying to gather different units together. Basically, at the top, they consolidated power. Uh, on a plus side, it's efficient to have a better organization. But if you want to look at it with a negative lens, it's basically people trying to gather power under themselves. I don't know which is the more true case. But anyway, I know he was in charge and I know he has the power. So I told him that, hey, my unit here, we have a lot of contractor that runs the thing, and that's not the job of contractors. I was correct. It was basically corruption, but no one go to jail for it. So he basically tasked my commander with fix it. So how they fix it is make everyone a civilian. Some of them didn't qualify. I know Kathy Curry, someone I hate. She served 20 years as a military police and became the assistant chief of the 9S 100 career field, which is like the most technical career field in the military. She was entirely not qualified and not proficient in any of the activity and tasks. Some of the very first thing she did was book herself a trip to, I guess, Antigua, but she sits on the beach and drink martini and margarita. And then when she come back, she had one of the guy meet her at the airport and take her tool bag back to base. So character wise, it's not fitting for the job. Skill wise, completely not fitting for the job. So beyond corruption, I don't know what you want to call it. So I raise a complaint about those type of stuff when everyone else does not. So for $3 billion a year, what is the American getting? A bunch of parasites. And then when I was assigned to a new maintenance shop, we maintain the equipment around the world. We were sending out equipment that were built incorrectly. And for 2 years, they have been shipping this box all around the world with the wire done incorrectly against the drawing. And when I first show up, I was questioning, why are you asking me to do things this way? So they asked me to just do what the previous guy did. So I did that for a week, and then as I work, I found documents laying around. So I found one of the diagram, the drawing for the box. I looked at it. I'm like, well, the work we're doing is not correct. So I brought it up, and some people liked it, some people hate it. For the most part, in the military, the culture is you want to keep things correct more than trying to be quick and profitable, because we don't make profit in the government or the military. So it's about doing a good job for the most part. Oh, one can argue it's no longer the case, but that's a different story. Yeah, technically, I brought up corrections that other people fail for whatever reason. And then throughout my career in 11 years, I bring up a lot of wrongdoing, and this causes a lot of problems for the people who don't believe in burning bridges. Now, regarding patriotism, when you build bridges with people that harm your country, that's not patriotism. That's betrayal. That's being a traitor. Um, we have a lot of courses and training on professional relationship. Some of them are coded in our professional code of ethics and a manual on how to be an airman. Something as simple as receiving gift. When we represent the government and other people want to good relationship and they want to give us gifts, we have to be careful. The government, the Air Force recognize that we human have a culture, and they are okay that people want to befriend us and give us gifts. But they say the amount of the gift need to be in X dollar, like $10 per gift and like $200 per year or something. Because once you start allowing the money to have an influence, then it's no longer a professional relationship. Um, on LinkedIn and a lot of the professional forum, they have very complex definition of professionalism, and it all revolve around like monkey behaviors, behaving in the same way as everyone else. But that's not really professionalism. Let me see if I could define professionalism. If you are a professional, then your action and behavior benefit your profession. So let's say you are a carpenter, you do things that help the profession. For example, you make the community have faith in you and other people like you. The opposite of which is I don't want to call a carpenter. So, in relation to carpenter, it's really hard to see the contrast here. But let's say politician. Let's say Lee Kuan Yew. He was a respected politician, so we could say, he was professional. He did what was good for his country. Uh, Putin. A lot of American, especially the academic and the professor I have encountered, they really hate Putin because he behaved in a way that Americans don't like. But do I consider him a professional? I consider the president of Russia more professional than the leadership inside the US. The fact is he take care of his country and his people better than our people. Are our people taking care of the people? Not only are they not as good, but they just simply don't take care of the people. Does this mean that there's no corruption in Russia? I don't believe such a thing, but whatever corruption they have in Russia, the end result is they are taking care of the people better than before. So, after 10, 15 years, the people's life improves. In the US, 10 or 15 years later, people's life have degraded. So that's my spin on what professional is. Professionalism is not about not burning bridges. But this is what you will find out if you work inside the government is a lot of people want to give you nugget of wisdom and they tell you to never burn bridges because you may end up working for them tomorrow. Well, that is the very definition of unprofessional relationship. The law stipulate the hierarchy of law, the U.S. constitutions, the federal, the states, and then your organization law and stuff, and everything must be aligned. And the relationship needs to support that. But right now, you're dealing with a lot of unprofessional relationship and what I would call unpatriotic, because now you are putting your personal interest above your country. So in 2013, when I filed a complaint against my commander, who was about to be the top 1% in the US Air Force, everyone was afraid that it was a wrong decision. I was afraid it was a wrong decision. Initially, I didn't want to do it. But over the years, I gather very smart and wise people around me, and I happened to be working for one guy, and he advised me that I should do my job. And by this time in the Air Force, after 10 years and 11 years, I developed a very coherent identity and coherent missions, what I was there to do, what my job description is, what my duty is. So if I didn't do my job, I'm the one that knows in details the most why I failed at my job. I didn't like failing at my job. I didn't like being a traitor. So I filed a complaint against a very powerful person. I thought that might be some negative consequences when the retaliation comes. So I took that and I waited quietly and patiently for the system to handle the unprecedented event. And what did the system do? They wanted to make it go away. I disagree. And right now is 2026. 13 years later, I'm still not letting it go, which means it could come back and bite some people in the butt. All of these people at AFTAC who betrayed the country, I want them to pay for it. Do you think I'm patriot enough to go after people who betray my country? Versus the other people who harms the civilian. So you look at all these people wearing the uniform that say police, and then you look at how they put on masks like terrorists, and then they drive around the city and terrorize people. Is that patriotism? To me, it's pretty obvious. The evidence is in front of us. However, I have a neighbor who really support this kind of shit. He called me his companion. I'm his neighbor. We are the only neighbor here in Trump country in California. I like the guy. He's a nice guy, but he's also a racist white guy. His wife is usually embarrassed because he would behave in a racist manner. And to him, it's all fun and game. And for him, he's always testing boundaries and, just testing my reaction and response. I don't really hate him for it because I think he's a nice guy. He's just like the racist joke, which is if I say it's a lack of education, it's somewhat insulting. But if we could move past this trap where the lack of education is insulting, then we could actually talk about the truth. I'm fine. Outside the U.S., I make a lot of jokes about black to a black friend. We are fine with that. He's from Nigeria. I'm from America, and we could discuss and talk about anything and everything, and we could use words that exist in the dictionary without any problem. But in the U.S., it's a loaded society where everything you say is heavy. It's hard to speak the truth in the US because you're always tiptoeing around, like tiptoeing on eggshells. And through my abuse in the military, I have had to research abuse, narcissistic personality disorder, what happened to victim of abuse. And usually, walking eggshell is a good sign that you are under the abusive environment. And if the entire country is walking on eggshells, then it means the entire country is now a victim. And who is the persecutor? Well, the only people who can do this are the institution and the people that control the institutions. Those are your persecutors. And every government have individuals, and those individuals have name and addresses. And the reason ICE cover their face is to avoid responsibility for their actions. These are entirely unprofessionals. These are entirely unpatriotic. What is the alternative to putting on mask? Well, if you decided that you have to shoot the criminal because it's for the betterment of the country, do it with your face. Take off the mask. There was a news where a Marine veteran was walking to the market or Walmart and he found a child in the back seat of the car and he broke the window to take the baby out and the mom was very upset and the marine agreed to pay for the windows because he broke the window and it was wrong. But if they were going to leave the baby in the back seat of the car, he will break that window again. And this is what I think is honor, professional. He does what he have to do, and he's willing to take the consequences, and you have to pay for it. He's fine. Okay, I break your window, I'll pay for it, but I'm not gonna let that baby die in the back seat or face possible death in the back seat of your car. There's not a lot of argument, and he don't need a face mask to do what is right. So let's say, well, you believe that there's a criminal and the law cannot handle it and you want to take matters into your own hand, right? And you need to take that police vest off. That police vest is not for men in mask. um that's not patriotic. That's unprofessional and you're harming the police. And patriotic, you need to understand what it means to be patriotic before you could start glorifying yourself as a patriot. And right now we have a lot of people waving the American flag. You don't see me waving the American flag. You don't see me running around screaming, I will make America great. But most of my life, I have been making America great. From my childhood day, I make phone call to the police to report problems. I see gangster beating someone outside the street. The wise choice was to keep quiet, don't get myself involved. My mom teach me this. My dad teaches me this. They grew up in Vietnam. They understand about surviving. I I call the police every single time. From the first year I was in the U.S., 1989, to I guess the last year, 2013. Even now, I refuse to inform the FBI sometime, but it's really hard to avoid reporting criminal activity. I still make report to the FBI sometimes. That's patriotism. It's not about waving flags. It's about doing what benefits the country, benefit the community, which is in a great extent what the country is made of. Um, Still, I faces racism, discriminations. This is a country that has like 90% white, and the dominant culture is pretty much influenced by white, which is a direct descendant of the whiteness and the white supremacists from the days of the 1700. It changed a lot. It have improved a lot. It have got nicer over the years, especially 90s to 2000. People were getting educated, becoming more kinder. We don't tolerate sex, rape culture. I remember receiving training on how to speak about gay. I can no longer call someone gay because now gay people is a recognized category, and you cannot use it to kind of degrade people. And then languages that objectify women and promote rape culture that have also been put on notice. Those are patriotic acts. ADA, American Disability Act. I really didn't think much about it when I was working, but after retirement, I was working with the Yang Gang, and one of the old guy was talking about the ADA. We had a different opinion on it. I didn't really care too much because I grew up in Vietnam, and it's pretty much survival. You don't have a lot of mental space to think about the handicapped people who are worse off than you, but you are so busy surviving you can't think about it. But this guy Andy, he was a fifth generation Chinese. He's as American as you can be and as far from Chinese as you can be, but he looks like Chinese, except he's like 7 foot and speak perfect English. Is a comedian on the side, and he understand the political process in U.S. and he care about handicapped people for whatever reason. He understand why we care. We care because we don't want anyone to suffer unnecessarily. And for the U.S., it kind of makes sense. We have the resources. Why should all of these handicapped people suffer when they don't have to? The wheelchair, how much more money does it cost to build a ramp? Not that much money. So these are patriotic, making your country better. Helping people learn English. Even with my depressed state in 2014, where I was betrayed by pretty much the entire country, no American really care about me. Partly racism, partly because it doesn't matter to their lives. I was still doing things that were, I think you should admit, is patriotic. Helping people learn to read English. So I joined the literacy program to help people learn to read English because in the US we have a literacy problem. We count on people to read so that they could vote informed. But now you have a lot of issues where a lot of Americans don't really know how to read. So then they're not informed. And when they're not informed and they go to vote, I don't know how valid that vote is. But that's not to say they shouldn't vote. At whatever capacity they have to vote within that capacity, and that's part of the process. And then also part of that process is the people who know how to read, should try to help them get informed. That's patriotic. Putting on a mask and terrorizing people, mm, for the past 4,000 years, I don't think that has ever been seen as patriotic. So, the people who are wearing masks and terrorizing people, I understand you want to get paid. I want to get paid. I didn't want to blow the whistle. I didn't want to file a serious complaint against my boss and shake the tree, put my livelihood at risk. You don't have to be a whistleblower, but you don't have to be the guy wearing the mask to go terrorize Americans. Remember Muhammad Ali, the world famous boxer, a black American who won glory for the empire, and the empire shit on him? Remember what he said when they asked him to go kill Vietnamese? He said those people didn't do him any harm. Why should he go over there and kill them and die in a foreign country? All of these Americans that are dying because of ICE, all of the people that ICE are terrorizing, what harm have they done to you? If you want your country to be better, can you go learn some science classes, some engineering classes, some computer programming classes? Make your country better by producing something that the world wants to buy. As far as men in mask, the world don't really have a demand for it. And worse, they treat men in mask like they treat COVID. So if we ever become a country where all we produce and exports are men in mask, we won't be a country very long. And if that's what we're going toward, I would not call that patriotism.